Kind of to talk about the Board of Ed. Is the Board of Finance hard enough on the Board of Ed year after year in terms of, increases, allowance? Yes, I understand it's one of the top school systems in the country. Couldn't they be number two and try a little harder? Is it a big difference to go from a 19 per student class size to 20? Is it really going to be, but we're talking about potentially savings of millions of dollars. It seems very automatic, as some people have said. It's an automatic that the all the contracts are going to be increased. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think I don't, not to speak for them, but if you were to ask the Board of Ed and the school administration, they would say I'm a little too hard on them, as well as the rest of the Board of Finance. I think this gets to a couple different issues. So the direct answer is like the Board of Finance has, whether it's been during the budget guidance process or during the actual budget vote in April, we have reduced the requested. We've always increased the budget. We've reduced the requested increases um, every year since I've been on the board. In the last 2 years, we've done it in partnership with the Board of Ed. So my first 2 years in office, um, there was that level of partnership, but it was the process was just different. The way we do things now is it's not April 1st and hey guys, we're going to come in there and we're gonna impose what we think is the right budget on you. We do it with the administration well in advance, and so it doesn't create that level of disharmony that you might have felt beforehand. But we're still very much making sure there's the right balance between what the taxpayers are paying and what the schools are getting. Now, with regards to the nuances of what's specifically in the Board of Ed budget, I've had a bit of an evolution on this personally. I have my views about certain things in the budget. The charter, actually, that's not the charter. Connecticut state statute says that the Board of Finance has no role. And as I've reflected on that, like I genuinely think that's a good thing, right? Because I'm not an educator. I am my colleagues, not educators. And you don't right, you don't want the financiers necessarily running things. You want the educators that understand how to educate these kids doing things. Now, there needs to be a partnership involved, right? Because if your taxes get too high, well, one, your residents are paying more, and two, that's going to increase property values. So there needs to be a partnership. But ultimately, you want both boards in their lane. And over the last 2 years of my chairmanship and 4 years in the Board of Finance, I think we've established that partnership to be able to do that.